Everybody went wild. We all felt like heroes, and nobody had made us that way but ourselves. We were free, just like that. We were free. The words of Felix Haywood, a former enslaved African, part of the Seminoles, Black Seminoles, Afro Seminoles, that today many of us don't know exist unless we read about them or saw them in one of these types of cowboy movies. Never talked about as folks fighting for their own freedom, never spoken of about their own traditions and their culture and their languages that they brought all the way from the Carolinas through Georgia to Florida, across this harsh country to Texas, where many then donned the uniform and then began to serve as either what some know today as Buffalo Soldiers, or many have heard about the Black Seminole Scouts, that this man, John L. Bullis, was actually the lieutenant over the 24th Infantry of for 8 years during what they called the Indian War. So how are the children do? This year the Queen Quet coming to 101 more again for this year Gullah Geechee TV Nation News from this year Seminole Day 2011 right here in Brackettville, Texas. Alright, now how the children see this year face before this year Sister Cynthia Ventura-Atchico, who is a historian for the Black Seminoles, and in particular the Scouts that were from this area and those in their connection to Oklahoma where she resides. So how are they do, Cynthia?
Okay, how are you doing?
Alright, glad to see. Hold on one more again and things like that. We're keeping this up. We got a road plan here this year. This is outstanding. So now, how did things go today? I know you've been an active part of everything for this year, and Texas has been on fire. Y'all have seen about the wildfires. So we prayed for rain, and God sent it today. So I know with the rain, it wasn't so easy to get everybody out. But how do you think it's been going so far?
It's going pretty good. We feel lost because we lost a lot of people this year. Like Alice May passed away.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she passed away the weekend in June that we got together.
That's right. She passed up.
Yeah, she passed away.
Wow.
And
And just for our listeners, who exactly was Alice Faye?
Alice Faye was our historian that was told the story from Mexico. So if you wanted to know about your ancestors or stories of Nacimiento, she was the one who knew it, as well as Dub. Like Dub knows the history from Nacimiento too, but he mostly focused on the history from Texas.
From Texas, exactly.
And her parents came on the Trail of Tears and stuff like that.
Wow. And so, and then you said there was some other losses that took place this year?
Cookie Sorella, she passed away. She was a Scout descendant. And Bobby Perry passed away, and he was Pompey Factor's.
Pompey Factor's great great.
One or two greats, I forget.
Okay, yeah.
But he passed away, and then Bobby's brother passed away too.
Wow.
And I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I think somebody else passed away that I don't know.
Also that you're not as close to.
That was one who would know.
All of the folks.
Yes.
But we definitely pray that their souls rest. But it is a good thing that we have you as a historian. We still have Dub that's still working to make sure the story is passed on and passed down. And I've been here the Seminole Days before, I've been to Bracket before, and I think it's outstanding how many more people seem to be gathering, especially that are descendants of Pompey Factor, that are descendants of the Shields, and are the descendants of the Julys and the Wards, who said to me they didn't even know all of their history until they read some books and then learned that this event happens. And I know that I had known Miss Charles Emily Wilson, God bless her dead, I know that that was her goal, that was her heart, that the young people would be concerned and would keep this going. So now, you weren't the historian when I first met you, but then you got dubbed as the historian just before all these transitions took place. What would make you interested? I mean, somebody would say, well, you live in Oklahoma, you could just sit back at home and just enjoy Oklahoma. Not necessarily connect and put in this kind of effort and work to help others connect. What makes you do that?
I love it.
You just love it.
I love learning about the history. I love whenever I learn something about somebody, whether it's my answer or somebody else's, they come to life. And it's like our ancestors want to be remembered. They don't want to be forgotten.
That's it.
And so whenever I can help somebody know something about their ancestor, it makes me happy.
Oh, yes. I know that.
So that's why I
So
love it.
that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And you can really tell that you have a passion for it. Because you wouldn't put in the time and the money and the effort without that love for it.
Oh, yeah.
Folks don't survive if they don't love what they're doing. They really don't.
And then this visit from my aunt that my grandmother used to live in, that's a Scout descendant.
Yes.
She let me look through pictures again, right? Because I said, well, do you have any more pictures of my grandmother? And, you know, I want to get some more. She's like, well, go ahead and look. You can have whatever you want. Right?
Okay.
And my mom was there, so we were looking through the pictures again, and then she handed me this paper, and I'm like, what is it? It was Bullis' son, Jose Prosto, and Rubio's marriage license.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, from 1898, and she let me have it.
Wow. So where do you have it at your house in Oklahoma?
No, it's here. It's here in Newport.
Oh, so really you have to show it to me.
And I just got that.
Wow. That is outstanding. So she had it all this time.
Yeah, well, see, because my aunt is not my mother and my brother.
Okay.
I mean, her brother.
Her brother.
Yeah, her brother were the Scout descendants.
When the Scout descendants.
Right.
Right.
So my uncle passed away.
Oh, okay.
And so my aunts had these pictures, and she's let me look through them a couple times and let me have copies.
Right.
This time, I guess, you know, it's like down to the bottom
Down
of
to
the
the
bag.
yes, and so she found this and
Yeah.
brought it to the top.
Yeah, and, you know, no, my other cousins didn't take it, luckily. 'Cause
Yeah,
I wouldn't have seen
but it wasn't for them. It was
Yeah.
meant for you to get.
Yeah, so I was like,
Exactly.
wow.
Wow, that's outstanding.
Yeah.
So now, tell us, we know your family are Scout descendants, but who? I mean, there's so many names in the Scouts. Who is your family?
My family is Jose Ventura-Atchico Frosto, and if you look at the second name, his name is Victor Frosto there.
Vector Frost.
Yeah.
Okay.
For Victor.
For Victor. Right.
And so he came over here in 1870 with John Gibbons with his three sons,
Okay.
which were Quirino Frosto, Tomas Frosto, and Gregorio Frosto.
So they actually were in Nacimiento and then came here.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what else I found there? A postcard from Nacimiento that said 1934 that my grandma's kept.
You have got to be kidding me.
No, that was in there too.
What? So what did you do with it?
I have it.
So you still kept
I just got
everything.
it this
And you, so just before coming to Seminole days.
Well, yesterday, last night.
Oh, really? Just before? So actually for the Seminole days weekend, you were blessed with all these treasures. Wow. So you have to have all this stuff appraised, you know.
Oh, well,
And y'all have to insure this stuff. But yeah, it's priceless because it makes sure that you digitize a copy of it too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because it's so important that we keep these things, and a lot of times once we get our hands literally on it, they start to deteriorate.
Oh, no, you gotta come see
yeah,
my
I gotta come see your stuff, definitely.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I have to. And so now this is the thing about coming to see you though. Seminole Days takes place in Texas and Oklahoma the same weekend, the same time every year. Is it because your ancestors are descendants here that makes you come to this one, like leave Oklahoma and come here instead of staying in Oklahoma and just going and
Well, I
staying
wasn't
there?
in Oklahoma first.
Okay,
I was in Chicago.
you were in Chicago,
And
right?
then I came here.
Right.
My grandma died in 1990 when I started doing my genealogy.
Okay,
Because my grandma's sister was the only one left. So I sat down and I said, well, can you tell me more about my grandma?
family, right.
So she said, do you know about Gullah and stuff like that? I'm like, she's like, I don't. And I said, yeah.
She was shocked.
Yeah. She's like, just start researching it. And so she helped me on the
Oh,
road.
your initial steps on the
Yeah.
journey.
And so she's got she had a picture of Phyllis's son
Okay.
that looks just like him, like the chest up. But I never got it from her in California.
Oh,
She
wow.
passed away, and so I heard her son had it in a garage, broken shed.
Oh wow, yeah, we know how that goes. So I'm willing
Hopefully
to
one day it'll
reappear.
pop up, yeah.
Reappear. So that's interesting. So now, at some point, I want to also be able to go to their Seminole Days in Oklahoma, so that we can make all of the linkages. But do you have any idea why did they both pick this third weekend in September?
No, I guess because there's no.
They just because
Yeah, I really don't know how that
happened. Because I
Yes, no.
yeah, I will. Trust me. We're going to get him next. Y'all should remember Doug's face too from Gullah Geechee TV. So trust me, he's going to be on this episode. Y'all just wait a little while. And so definitely, I know it's kind of big boots to fill since Doug has kind of set you on the path to be the next one to carry on and keep on doing stuff so he can work a little less so that you can help carry the weight. But how is it for you in terms of the story? Because I know with Dub, he comes from a lot of the soldier side of the story. Do you find yourself delving a little bit more into the lady side of the story?
No,
or do you just see it more in the genealogy for you?
Yeah, the genealogy.
More in the genealogy.
I want documentation.
Right.
Not for me, but for the association and for the people. Like whatever I have, they can have copies of it. Like some, Scouts and still their descendants and so and so, but they haven't done their work.
The rest of the work to make the connection.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do, get them to make the connections so that we can tell our own story.
And that's the difference. Telling our own story.
Oh, and then back to my genealogy. So like when the Scout descendants came in the sons, they all brought their families with them.
Right.
So their daughter, he had a daughter, Jose Victoriano.
Jose Victoriano.
Her name was Maria Jose.
Okay.
So I heard she was really beautiful. So Willis he was married in San Antonio to somebody else.
Okay.
She lived there and we lived here.
Right.
But the Seminoles, you were allowed to have more than one wife, more than
Is
one
that
husband.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they were polygamous.
Yes, so it was acceptable.
Okay.
So Willis started living with us and becoming one of us. So he married my grandmother.
Married your grandmother.
Not
Okay.
in like the legal way,
I understand.
but the Indian way.
But in the Indian way.
And
Right.
so then he had, right after he got saved, John Ward, Coffee Factor, and Isaac Payne saved his life in 1875. So right after that is when she became pregnant with Willis's son. That's his only son.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's your ancestor.
Yeah, that's
was the
mine.
only son that Willis had.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they used to call him Abuelillo. That means white, the white.
The white. Okay.
White puns,
White puns. Okay, got you.
So,
Okay.
he stayed with us for a while.
So it's interesting. So then his ancestry then is actually a spouse, and the Willis's son. His ancestry is then a Seminole Scout and the commander of the Scouts. Just so y'all get it clear. And so now that leads down to who now? You. Yeah. After that is the next person.
Okay, so then the son's name was Jose Frausto.
Jose Frausto. Okay.
And so then Jose Frausto and Paula Rubio got married.
Paula Rubio. Okay.
And then they had Carolina Frausto.
Carolina Frausto.
And then she married Jose Santos Peña.
Santos Peña. Okay.
And then they had my mother.
And your mom's name is?
Angelica Peña.
Angelica Peña.
Angelica.
Angelica. Okay. Peña. All right.
She married Rolf Rodriguez.
Okay.
And then that's my.
And that's your parents. Okay. All right. So you have a real interesting blend of all of the history of what they call the Seminole Negro Indian Scout story, because you have both the Gullah Geechee, you have the Mexican, and then that's the one side most people look at. But then you also have the Anglo part with Willis and the whole connection.
Right.
So you're like the UN of the whole Seminole. Right? You're like you're representing your family. So that's really interesting, and I've never heard anyone else tell me this aspect of the connection. It's usually the African and the Indian, and that's it. Or the Mexican side and the crossing, or the Texas side, or the Oklahoma freemen, but we never hear about Willis and his now connection. So this is outstanding. I know many of y'all who are watching are saying, who is Willis and where's Nacimiento and all of these things. I suggest that you make sure you read the Gullah Wars and the Legacy of Igbo Landing. That'll give you a good lead in to the journey we're talking about. Look at the maps that are in there, and then pick up from there and just do a search on Black Seminoles or Seminole Indian Scouts, and you will start to see the rest of the picking up where we're talking about Bullis, and we're talking about Fort Clark, and we're talking about Eagle Pass, and we're talking about Nacimiento, and you'll see how all of these linkages come together, that all the roads end up leading us here together to Seminole days. And now you know why you have to have historians. Because it's so much to remember and so many connections to make. But like you said, it's about family, ultimately, and it's about telling our story.
And ancestors like you.
Yes, and about the ancestors and the leaders. And so, Hana Chillin, from the children in North, said all of them that come from Carolina and come over here, whining to make or come on out again, and then we still the day, still a whole fun the culture, and still to learn everybody but freedom, and crack we teeth, with truth, with restore. So I'm so glad to have you on the show one more time and to learn a little bit more. And next time, y'all will learn about who she has as descendants. All right? So y'all take care and tune in a little bit more for the rest of this show, Seminole Day.